So by the way, no, so yung ating expected credit loss, pinanood nyo na ba yung yung sa expected credit loss? It was already uploaded. So let us continue with this. So this is derivative. So another financial instruments. So which is mostly mataas ang risk sa mga bangko into their derivative financial instruments. So either a derivative financial asset or a derivative financial liability. So when the banks entered into a transaction, so normally to hedge, nagkakaroon siya ng derivative asset or derivative liability. So let's have a look no on how derivative arises and how are we going to compute for the value of derivatives. Since derivatives ang tawag sa kanila because their value normally is coming from the financial instrument where they are attached. No? So especially for those embedded derivatives. So alamin natin kung ano yung mga normal kinds of derivatives and ano yung mga derivatives ni Bangko. Okay? So let us take a look no. So derivatives are actually financial instruments that derive their value on contractually required cash flows from some other security or index. Okay, so that's why they are called derivatives. So again, no, they arrive their value on contractually required cash flows. So yan. So the value of the asset or liability will be depending on the instances. Okay, so for instance, a contract allowing a company to purchase a particular asset in the future at a designated date. Predetermined price is the financial instrument that derives its value from expected and actual changes in the price of the underlying asset. So titingnan natin if the company entered into a contract so to purchase in the future, meron tayong pwedeng maging financial instruments so which the value derives from the expected and actual changes in the price of the underlying asset. So ano yung ating magiging underlying asset? So pupuntahan natin yun later, no? So well, a derivative is a financial instrument that, so eto siya, magiging derivative siya, it's because the value changes in response to the change in a specified interest rate. So again, no, the value changes in response to the change in specified interest rate kung naka-interest yung ating basis. So pwede rin namang security price, commodity price, etc. Okay, so pwede rin kasama dyan yung mga foreign exchange, yung mga index prices or rates, di ba? Credit rating or credit index, o kaya naman yung mga similar variables. So they are called the underlying. Okay? So also, derivative siya kasi it requires no initial net investment. Okay? No initial net investment. So commonly, zero. Kung meron man, sobrang liit or a very little net investment. Okay? So that is relative to other types of contracts that have similar response to changes in the market conditions. And of course, it is always settled in the future date. So yan ha. So ito yung mga characteristics ng financial instrument so that they are recognized as a derivative. So again, no, yung value changes in the response to the changes in specified underlying, yun yung ating interest rate, security, commodity price, kasamang forex, credit rating, credit index, and similar variable. So no initial net investment or little net investment, and that it is settled in future dates. Okay? So yung mga ma-encounter natin na mga derivatives, so these are yung mga futures. Siguro ito, na-encounter nyo na ito sa inyong special transaction siguro o kaya naman sa, so I think no, sa AST siguro yan. Yung mga forward contract, foreign currency futures, and the interest swap. Okay. Saan nga kayo nag-forex? Ano ngang subject yung nag-forex kayo? AST ba? When we say future contract, so what is that future contract? Sige nga, anyone? So again, no, when we say futures, so yung future contract is an agreement between the buyer and the seller that requires that the seller to deliver a particular commodity, so at a designated future date at a predetermined price. So these contracts are actively treated on regulated future exchanges and are generally referred to as commodity future contract. Okay, so kaya pag nakita nyo, commodity future contracts, so ito yun, yung ating futures contracts. Okay, so when the commodity is the financial instrument, okay, so such as yung mga treasury bills, di ba, yung mga commercial papers, yun ang ginagamit natin to determine the value of our investment. So future contracts are purchased either is an investment or as a hedge against the risk of future price changes. So ginagamit natin siya, one, pwede investment yan. Pangalawa, we are using this para i-hedge yung ating transaction. So ibig sabihin, we are preventing the risk of loss. So kung hindi man natin ma-prevent, so at least we minimize the risk of loss. Okay, so that is a future contract. Next is yung forward contract. It is normally not traded now. So a forward contract is somewhat similar to a future contract, but they are actually different in three ways. Okay? So una, magkaiba sila that a forward contract calls for delivery on a specific date. Okay? Whereas a future contract permits the seller to decide later which specific day within the specified month so will be the delivery date. Okay, so yung una, yun yung ating unang difference. So kapag futures, alam kung kailan siya i-deliver. Kapag forward, so although there is a specific time frame, pero yung specific date hindi. Okay? So it is within the seller to decide on a later date which specific day within the specified period will be the delivery date. Okay? So yung pangalawa, again, unlike the futures, yung forward usually is not traded on the exchange market or in the market exchange. Okay? At yung pangatlo, unlike futures, a forward contract, ito, does not call for a daily cash settlement for price changes in the underlying contract. So, any gains and losses on forward contracts are paid only when they are closed out. Okay? So unlike sa futures, settlement may be made between the parties. Okay? So eto, merong settlement. However, hindi on a daily cash settlement for price changes. Okay? So gain or loss, mako-close lang yan kapag they are paid out when they are closed out. Okay? So yun yung ating forward contracts. Next is foreign currency futures. Okay? Okay, so pag sinabi naman nating foreign currency futures, so normally, no, these are foreign loans denominated in other currency. Okay, so yung mga normal US dollar, di ba? Yung mga Japanese yen, ano pa, mga Swiss franc, euro, and the likes. Okay, so when the loan must be repaid in foreign currency, there is a new element of risk that is introduced, diba? So that is our exchange rate risk. So this is because if the exchange rate changes, yung ating peso equivalent to the foreign currency na ibabayad natin is definitely differ from that foreign currency na hiniram natin. So although nanghiram tayo, halimbawa 100,000 euro, babayaran natin siya 100,000 euro, yung equivalent ng 100,000 euro na nung tayo ay nangutang at nung babayaran na natin may be different because of the changes in our foreign exchange transaction. So now, to hedge against forex risk exposure, so most of the firm buy or sell foreign currency contracts. Okay, so pag tayo ay nangutang, bibili rin tayo in the future. So that's a foreign currency futures contract. So these are similar to financial futures except that specific foreign currencies are specified in the future contracts, no, rather than specific debt instrument. Okay, so they work the same way to protect against foreign exchange risk as financial futures protect against fair value or the cash flows risk. So again, pag tayo nangutang in a foreign currency, today also, we are going to enter into a future contract to purchase. So that the forex risk will be hedged. Okay? So and yung ating interest rate swap. Okay? So again, so when we say future interest rate swap, so tama si Sherlyn that that you are going to exchange your interest to another party. Okay, so again, para yun sa mga inggitera at inggitera at hindi naman nakokontento sa buhay. Okay, so say for example, si Sherlyn at saka si Ella, okay, magkaibigan sila. Parehas silang nangutang sa bangko. Okay, so o kaya naman si bangko ay nagpautang sa mga government agency. Okay, so si Sherlyn at saka si Ella, nagtanungan sila ngayon. Sila, magkano ang interest rate na binabayaran mo kay bank? Sabi ni Sherlyn, ay sa akin 12% per annum. Fix 'yon. Kahit anong mangyari, basta ang babayaran ko ay 12% fix. Ayan, sabi ni Sherlyn, ayan fix sa akin 12%. Sabi ni Ella, ay sa akin 10%, pero variable 'yon. So ibig sabihin, pag sinabing variable, pag bumaba ang foreign exchange, since variable yon, bababa din yung kanyang babayaran in the future. Okay, so yun nga lang, kapag tumaas yung exchange rate, so tataas din yung kanyang babayaran na interest. No? So may mga advantage, disadvantage both, right? Okay, so yung fixed, kahit anong mangyari, fixed ang babayaran mo. Okay, yung variable, nakadepende. So kung halimbawa nainggit si Sherlyn kay Ella, si Ella kay Sherlyn, nagpalitan sila ngayon ng interest. That is their transaction. So however, their payment will be made directly to each other. So meron silang settlement. Okay? So yun yung alamin natin. So normally, kapag interest rate swap, because there is a cash flow na involved, so we are using this interest rate swap for cash flow transaction. So ang tawag natin doon is cash flow hedge. Okay? So cash flow hedge. So if yung ating hedge transaction is speculative, so meaning naka-fair value yan, so any difference in changes in the value of our derivative financial instrument is reported in profit or loss. So however, kapag cash flow yung ating hedge, okay, so meaning whatever the settlement is, the difference is yung ating risk specific to that particular to that particular derivative instrument is relative to the cash flows of the derivative financial instrument, and they are related. There is a correlation. Ang tawag natin doon ay cash flow hedge. Okay? So we are going to assess the correlation ng ating cash flows doon sa ating derivative financial instruments. So if there is a direct correlation, so which is that is 1, di ba? Ang ating normally there is a direct correlation kapag 1 yan, then we can say that the cash flow is effective. Okay? Otherwise, ineffective. Now, for purpose of determining whether our cash flow hedge is effective or ineffective, so meron tayong range. Dapat yan ay 80 to 125%. Again, so 80 to 125%. Okay, so again, in relation to that, since we are hedging our transaction, so there are criteria that hedge transaction must be met before requiring accounting for hedges. So this criteria aims to ensure the use of hedge accounting in a consistent manner across different hedge transaction. Okay, so yung una, when we are hedging, so again, ito yung ating qualifying hedge criteria. So pag sinabi nating hedge, again, so this is the transactions that we enter into to minimize yung ating risk of loss. Okay? So one is yung documentation, risk management, and designation. Okay? So which is at inception of the hedge, of course, there must be a formal documentation of the hedging relationship. The company's risk management objective and the strategy for undertaking the hedge. Okay? So designation, on the other hand, refers to identifying the hedging instrument, the hedge item or transaction, the nature of the risk that is being hedged, and how the hedge instrument will offset changes in fair value or cash flows attributable to the hedge risk. Okay? So again, ito yung importante, yung ating designation. Well, documentation and risk management, so it is always given. So dapat lagi tayong may proper documentation of the hedge relationship, yung company's risk management objective. So again, designation refers to identifying what is our hedge instrument, what is our hedge item or transaction, the nature of the risk being hedged, and how the hedging instrument will offset the changes in fair value or cash flows attributable to the hedge risk. Okay? So while yung pangalawa is to identify whether there is a hedge effectiveness. So ito yung ating effectiveness of the hedge. Okay? So, this is pertaining to the relationship. So, as I told you, at inception and on an ongoing basis. So, hindi lang at inception to have. So, pati on an ongoing basis, the hedge relationship should be highly effective in achieving offsetting changes in fair value or cash flows. Again, so kapag ang ating hine-hedge is yung changes in fair value, then that is what we call a speculative or a fair value hedge. However, kapag yung ating hine-hedge, meaning ang ating mini-minimize in terms of loss is yung cash flows, that is what we call a cash flow hedge. So, kung tayo si company, we have to assess the effectiveness whenever we are preparing the financial statement. Okay, so in terms of effectiveness, that is yung fair value or the cash flow of the hedging instruments. So again, no, fair value or cash flow of the hedging instrument. Yung hedging instrument natin, ito yung ating derivatives. Okay? And the hedge item exhibit a high degree of correlation. So again, pag sinabi natin correlation, that is assumed, no? Or close to 1. Okay? So, however, meron tayong allowance, correct, di ba? So, for purpose of identifying the hedge, ang ginagawa natin, ang hedge is effective if yung fair value or cash flow of hedging instrument and the hedge item is ranging from 80 to 125%. Okay? So, if the criteria for hedge effectiveness is not met, okay, then hindi na tayo magkakaroon ng accounting for hedge transaction. So that is only for changes in fair value automatic. Okay? So changes in fair value automatic lang siya. P&L ang pasok nun. So para ka lang nag equity investments o kaya nag debt investments doon. Okay? So ito ha. And of course, yung number 3, yung effect on reported earnings. Of the changes in fair value or cash flows. Anyway, so a change in the fair value of hedge item or yung variation in the cash flow of the hedge forecasted transaction must have the potential to change the amount recognized in the reported earnings. There is no need for a special hedge accounting if the company accounts for both hedge instrument and hedge item at fair value. So kung naka-fair value naman yan, so again, no? So fair value, basta pag fair value hedge, any difference is reported in profit or loss. Pero kapag cash flow hedge, any difference is kung effective, ranging from 80 to 125%, that is reported in other comprehensive income. So if ineffective, so meaning below 80 or more than 125, this is reported in profit or loss. So yun lang naman yung titingnan natin doon. No? So kapag fair value hedge or a cash flow hedge. So ayan ha. So ito yung ating mga basics for hedging transactions. So for embedded derivatives, so under PFRS 9, so there is no need to bifurcate our embedded derivatives since embedded nga sila. The value of the derivatives changes because of the financial instrument where they are attached, and therefore any changes is then reported in profit or loss. Okay? So, kung embedded derivatives yun. Palitan sila ng interest dito. So, since the amount of settlement is made between each other, okay, there is a cash flow transaction. And therefore, kapag interest rate swap, this is a cash flow hedge. Okay? So on January 1, 2021, Timberland Bank received a 5-year loan bearing an interest equivalent to T-bill plus 5%. So that is treasury bill. Okay? So yes, Sherilyn, anong problema? So T-bill, so pwedeng magbago yan, no? Plus 5%. The T-bill rate will be the T-bill rate will be the rate on January 1 of each year. So pwedeng magbago. The interest is payable at the end of each year while the principal will be repaid on December 31, 2025. So ibig sabihin, yung ating interest na babayaran ay nakadepende doon sa ating beginning balance. So which is, yun yung ating interest na T-bill plus 5%. The T-bill rate on January 1, 2021 is 3%. So that is 3% plus 5%, yun yung ating magiging interest rate. Okay, so again, that is 3% plus 5%, that is our interest rate. So that will be our fixed rate. Kasi yun yung nakalagay yun, the loan bearing an interest equivalent to T-bill plus 5%. Eh, ang T-bill natin today ay 3 plus 5%, so a total of 8. Okay? In conjunction with this loan, Timberland entered into an interest rate swap with a finance company. So under this agreement, Timberland will be paying finance company 8%, while finance company will be paying Timberland T-bill plus 5%. So ayan, nakipagpalit siya. Okay? So tayo ngayon, ang babayaran na lang natin is naging variable naman tayo ngayon. Okay? So that is T-bill plus 5%. The swap payment will be made every December 31. So if any difference, so pwedeng meron tayong babayaran or meron tayong marireceive, mangyayari siya ng December 31. And on January 1, 2022, the T-bill is now 5%, while on December 31, 2022 is 2%. So ibig sabihin, again, January 1, that is 5 plus 5%, so magiging 10%. Okay? So puntahan natin. Determine whether the hedge is a cash flow hedge or a fair value hedge. Sige nga, paki-chat yung answer nyo sa number 1. Is it a cash flow or a fair value hedge? So there is settlement. Pwede tayong magbayad, pwede tayong maka-receive. It's because we enter into an interest rate swap. Okay? So ang ating fix is 8%, while yung iba is magiging variable. Again, no? So in such case, pwede tayong may ma-receive, pwede tayong magbayad. So nevertheless, that is a cash flow hedge. Correct, no? So number 1, okay, so that's correct. That is a cash flow hedge. Sige, sasagutan na natin. In 2021, syempre, nung nag-loan tayo noong 2021, so we receive a loan, debit tayo ng cash and credit, loans payable. Ito, 5 milyon. So this is the amount of loan. Okay? Next, by the end of December, magbabayad tayo ng interest. Magkano babayaran nating interest? So that is a base on our initial transaction of loan. So that is T-bill plus 5%. So which is naka-fix siya at 8%. Correct, di ba? So by the end of December 31, so dapat magbabayad tayo ng loan, ng interest sa loan. Debit tayo ng interest expense and credit tayo ng cash. Okay? O sige nga, magkano yung ating babayarang interest? Magkano yung babayaran nating interest? I-check nyo nga yung amount ng babayaran nating interest. That is 400,000. So naka-base doon sa ating fixed interest rate. Okay, so fixed interest rate. Okay, so correct yun, no? So 400,000. So yung 400,000 na-compute yan at 5 million times 8%. So ibig sabihin, kung tayo magbabayad do sa inutang natin na interest, dapat lagi ang ating interest expense is 400,000. Okay? So 400,000 dapat lagi ang ating interest expense. Okay? Now, yung ating babayaran nakadepende na based doon sa ating interest rate swap. By the end, by January, naka 3% tayo. By the end of 2021, okay, that is ilang percent yung ating either ma-receive or yung babayaran. Okay? So, by the end of the year, it is clear na yung ating T-bill is 5%. Okay? So Timberland will be paying finance company 8%, while the finance company will be paying Timberland T-bill plus 5%. Okay. The swap payments will be made every December 31. So on January 1, 2022, the T-bill rate is now 5%. So therefore, magkano ang babayaran sa atin pagdating ng December 31, 2022. So kung titingnan natin yung ating fixed interest rate versus yung ating variable interest rate, ilang percent yung ating fixed? Sige nga, ilang percent to? This is 8%. Correct, diba? Noong 2021, ilang percent daw yung ating variable interest rate? 10%. So this is 10%. Correct, no? So this is 10%. Okay? A question. Magbabayad tayo or makaka-receive?
Makaka-receive.
Makaka-receive tayo, no, ng 2%. Ito yung ating difference in terms of percentage. So which is, in terms of percentage, ito yung ating net receipt. Okay, so makaka-receive tayo, right? Kasi yung binayaran natin 400, pero ang babayaran sa atin ay 10. So therefore, ang ating net receipt is 2%. Okay? So ito yung amount of loan is 5 million. So ibig sabihin, ilang years yung ating loan daw? 5 years. Correct, diba? 5 years. Ilang taon na nakalipas? Isang taon pa lang ito, diba? This is the amount of our annual receipt. So makaka-receive tayo ng 100,000 provided na hindi na magbabago yung interest rate. Okay? At kailan siya nare-receive? Every December 31. Na-receive na natin yung isa. Okay? Na-receive na natin yung isa. Yung 100,000. So therefore, meron pa tayong ma-receive in the future. And that is our derivative asset. Okay? Yung derivative asset ay saan naka-base? Doon sa ating variable rate, which is 10%. Okay? So again ha, yung derivative asset ay naka-base doon sa ating variable rate. So therefore, kukunin natin yung present value niyan. Present value factor of 10% in 4 periods, ordinary annuity. Sige nga, pakicompute yung PV factor. So yan ang ating magiging derivative asset. So 1.1, that is 3.169865. Paki-check yung aking PV factor, tama ba? Yes. 3.169865. Correct? Para sa inyo receive yan. This is a derivative asset. So meron tayong derivative asset na i-recognize by the end of 2021. So dapat ito yon, 316,987. Okay? So e-entradahan natin yan, debit. Derivative asset. O saan ang pasok kapag cash flow hedge?
OCI.
OCI. Effective ba yung hedge? Nag-range ba yan from 80 to 125%? Hoy. Yes or no? Ito is UGOL OCI. Okay. So the answer is yes, di ba? Ilang percent yung ating hedge effectiveness? Sige nga. Okay, so that's why meron tayong UGOL-OCI. So this is pertaining to the next 3 years na makaka-receive tayo ng 100,000 kung hindi magbabago yung ating variable rate. Okay? Sige. O pagdating ng December 31, 2022. O so ito na. 2022. Correct. 2022. O so ang ating babayaran ay magkano? O di ba naka-base na sa 10% kasi naka-variable tayo, di ba? So debit tayo ng interest expense and credit tayo ng cash. So si Charles naman, Charles. Mr. Sindak.
Yung 7% na lang po.
Ang interest expense natin, magkano?
500,000 po.
No. Kasi kung tayo ang mag-record, magkano lang dapat palagi ang ating interest expense?
400,000 po.
Magkano, sorry?
400,000.
400,000. Ang naka-recognize nating interest expense ay 500,000 kasi yun yung binayaran natin based doon sa ating variable rate. Correct, di ba? So, anong dapat gawin?
Magbabawas po ng interest expense.
Kano?
100,000 po.
Correct, no? So, yung 100,000. So, saan manggagaling yung ibabawas sa ating interest expense?
Sa na-receive po.
Paano na-receive?
Sa annual receipt po.
Okay, sige. Ito yon. So, ano dapat maging entrada?
Interest expense po dapat yung nasa credit.
Yung 100,000 nga ay nanggaling doon sa derivative asset. Ito yon na sinet up natin. Correct, di ba? Kaya bawasan mo yung derivative asset. Okay? O, since naka-receive ka ng 100,000, Ano mangyayari doon? Magbawas ka ng interest expense. Correct yun, di ba? So, credit ka ngayon ng interest expense. Na 100,000 din. Okay? O, so, saan nanggaling yun? Di ba dito yung nanggaling sa 316,987? So, therefore, ang kapartner niyan ay debit, unrealized gain or loss, dash other comprehensive income. So, ito yung effect na naka-receive tayo ng 100,000 because meron tayong difference doon sa ating fixed rate and variable rate. Now, by the end of the year, so ito, December 31, 2022, gagawin ulit natin to. Ang fixed rate natin laging 8%, di ba? Kaya ang interest expense mo kapag tinanong, laging naka-base dun sa fixed rate kasi yun yung ating babayaran sa ating loan eh, di ba? So that's 5 million times 8%, that's 400,000. So eto siya, yung interest expense sa 500,000 minus yung 100,000. Kaya ang net interest expense mo ay laging 400,000. Okay, so yun ating magiging net interest expense. Okay. Now, ang fixed rate natin 8% pa din. O pagdating ng 2022, ilan na yung variable rate natin? So pag binalikan natin to, on January 31, 2022, the rate is now 2%. So therefore, pagdating ng December 31, 2022, ilang percent yung ating variable?
7% po.
7%. Correct, no? So 7%. So therefore, yung difference na 1%, ano to?
Payment.
Bayad or receive?
Payment po.
Payment, correct. So meron tayong net payment na 1%. So kung magbabayad tayo, ano to?
Liability.
Liability, di ba? Pero ilang years na lang yung loan na babayaran natin kung hindi magbabago yung interest rates?
3 years po.
3 years na lang. Correct, no? So saan i-base? Sabi ko, yung PV factor ay laging nakabase sa
Variable po.
variable. So 7%. Okay, sige nga. 1.07, 3% in ordinary annuity. That's 2.62, 43, 16. Tama ba?
Opo.
Okay, so this is now a derivative liability. So that's correct, no? That's a derivative liability now. Okay? So derivative liability na siya. Okay, so ano ngayon na magiging entrada natin to recognize this derivative liability?
Unrealized loss po.
So meron tayong ugol OCI na magkano?
50,000 po.
50. Ito, 50.
Ay, 131,216 po.
131,216 and credit?
Derivative liability po.
Derivative liability of 321 at ito 131,216. Tama ba?
Opo.
So kung gagawa tayo ng T account, ito so i-T account natin. So derivative asset, pagsamahin ko na, derivative liability. On the beginning of the year, meron tayong derivative asset. Tama ba? Na-compute natin yan, 316,987. Okay? Ano nangyari? May binawas tayong 100,000. So naka-credit yung derivative asset. By the end of the year, kailangan maging magkano siya?
1,300.
Di ba dapat maging liability siya na 131,216. Okay? So para maging 131,216 yan, ano ang dapat natin gawin? We supposed to recognize
348,203.
correct. So yun dapat nang i-recognize natin as a loss. Tama ba? So dapat meron tayong i-close na natin yung natitira. Ito. So 216,987. So para maging 131 pa ito, kailangan pa nating magdagdag ng 131,216. So therefore, dapat ang ilolos natin yung 216,987 plus 131,216. Correct, di ba? So, credit tayo ng derivative liability and credit tayo ng derivative asset. Ang derivative asset natin na natira is yung 216,987. Kaya yung buong 316,987, lahat yan, nag-zero na. Okay? So meron tayong derivative liability of 131,216. Okay? So pagtatanungin kita, Maureen, sige nga, magkano ang total amount na na-recognize sa profit or loss in 2022?
400,000.
400,000. Correct, no? Magkano ang pumasok sa OCI noong 2022?
448,202 po.
Sorry, magkano?
448,202 po.
448,202. Ganon.
Opo.
Yung pumasok sa OCI, ha? So kasi pag gananong tayo, 2021 and 2022. Okay? So, magkano ang pumasok sa ating OCI? At magkano pumasok sa P&L? Okay? So, profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Ito yung total comprehensive income. So in 2021, sure tayo na 400 to, di ba? In 2022, sure din tayo na 400 to. Ito yung ating interest expense na na-recognize. That's 400,000. In 2021, meron tayong gain. In-negative ko kasi gain 316,987. Correct? O ngayon, again, Maureen, sorry, magkano ang sagot mo sa 2022? Yung pumasok sa OCI. O yung ni-report sa OCI. Maureen?
Yung magiging, yung dalawang ugol po ba yun? Yung 448?
448. Ito, tama ba? Ito,
Opo.
plus ito. Tama ba?
Opo.
Ayan. Kaya 448,222. Okay. So, yun ang nasa OCI. Parehas naman silang loss. Tama ba?
Opo.
Okay. So, yun. So, magkano ngayon ang nasa total comprehensive income? So, in 2021, that's 83,014 in 2022. So that is loss ito. Tama, interest expense at saka OCI loss. 848,202. Okay? So by the end of 2021, meron tayong derivative asset negative, positive, derivative liability negative. So derivative asset tayo ng 2021 and a derivative liability tayo ng 2022. Okay? So kung i-trace natin yung ating ugol dash OCI, so meron tayong beginning balance niyan. Ang beginning balance natin ay gain na 316,987. Okay, so ito yung changes natin. May merong loss na 100 and another loss of 348,200. So kaya ang total na pumasok ay ito, Ugol OCI, correct? 448202. So, wherein ang ending balance ng ating Ugol ay loss na 131,216. So, ito naman yung ating to-date balance ng ating Ugol. So, which is equivalent to our derivative liability. Okay? So, yan ha. So, this is an interest rate swap. Teka lang dyan ha. So, Megan Rose Cuisine operates a chain of fine seafood restaurants. The company is undergoing expansion, and in order to finance its expansion program, it obtained a euro of 300,000 loan on September 30 from Angela Bank, a French company. A loan is payable on September 30, while the interest base on market rate is payable every September 30. The interest rate on the loan is based on the interest rate every September 30. Interest for the first year is based on September 30, 2021. Interest for the second year is 2022 and so forth. The exchange rate on September 30, 2021 is 52 pesos, 1 euro. Because of the volatility of the foreign exchange rate, the company negotiated a special forward contract to buy euro on September 30, 2024 with Premier Investment Bank for euro 1:52. That is to hedge the principal on the loan. Megan Rose paid the loan of 2024. The forward contract was also settled on the same date. So forex rates on various dates are as follows. So binigay September 53, 51, 55. The bank adopts the fiscal accounting period ending September 30. Discount rates are as follows. So prepare the necessary journal entries on the books of Angela Bank. Okay. So which is Angela entered into a special contract with Premier Investment Bank. Sige nga. So this is a fair value hedge. So prepare the entries for 2021, 22 hanggang 24. Determine the carrying amount of the derivative asset or liability, and any gain or loss directly recognized in profit or loss and to OCI for 2021, 2, 3, and 4. Since this is a fair value hedge, so sure na tayo ngayon na lagi siyang pasok lang sa profit or loss. Sige nga, Charles, magkano mo i-record yung loan payable?
$1,092,000.
Magkano? Babayarang interest. So pagdating ng December 31, debit ka ng interest expense, credit ka ng interest payable. So magkano i-accrue mong interest?
273,000.
O paano na-compute yun?
Yung 15.6 times 7% times 3/12 kasi September.
Times 7% times 3/12. So mula September 30. Sige, correct. So 273,000. Okay, next is pagdating ng 2022. So ayan, magbabayad ka na ngayon. Magkano ang total babayaran?
Babayaran ko is 15.6.
Magkano? Siyempre, dapat yung
babayaran mo. Opo. Yung una po, babayaran niyo po muna siyempre yung natitira pa po doon sa from January to September 30 po nung nakaraang taon pa yung accrued po. Yan po ay 819,000. Tas yung 819,000. Ano. Tapos sa
19,000.
opo, yun po yung natitira. Tapos yung sa kasunod po is
Tapos?
15 ba 273 po? 15.9 po times.
Interest payable, di ba? Interest payable, 7%.
Ay, payable. Opo.
So, dapat magkano ang interest expense?
Interest. Yan po ba yung for December na po or doon lang po sa
as of September 30.
Okay, ID yun lang pong 800 kanina po 819 po.
819. So magkano babayaran mo ngayon? Magkano babayaran mo? The exchange rate on September, ito ha, it was stated the interest rate on the loan is based on the interest rate every September 30. Interest for first year, ganun, di ba? Interest for second year, blah, blah, blah. Interest yon. Pero yung exchange rate, nagbabago eh. Anong Wala tayong problema sa interest, 7% pa din. Correct, di ba? O, so pag kinompute natin, ang babayaran, magkano? 300,000. Kaya nga tinanong ko sa babayaran times 7%. Times 12 over 12 na to kasi isang taon yung babayaran mo di ba? Times, magkano ang exchange rate ngayon? 53 pesos. So dapat ito yung babayaran nating interest. So 300 times 7% times 53. So we're supposed to pay 1,113,000. Pero nag-set up ka na 1,113,000. So in relation to that, nag-set up na tayo ng interest payable, 273. So magkano pa interest expense natin?
840,000.
Ayan na, 840. Nakita mo na 840. So ayan ha. So kinupit natin at 7%. 7% pa din. Isa-isang taon yan. Okay? O sige, correct. Now, pagdating natin ng December 31, ng September 30, 2022, ang ating loans increased to 15.9 million. Correct? Sige. Entrada doon para doon sa decrease. Sige, entradahan ko muna to ha. Debit tayo ng forex loss. Ito ang pasok saan? PL. 300,000. Okay? So yung forex loss, PL 300,000. And then, credit tayo ng loans payable. Also, 300,000. Kasi dapat yung ating loans payable ay maging 15.9 million. Correct? So dapat yung ating loans payable ay maging 15.9 million. So nag-increase yung loan, so meron kang loss. Pero since today, we also enter into a forward contract, no? To be settled on the same day. So meron tayo ngayong derivative. So which is, we also have an amount na marireceive in the future. So which is, mababayaran siya kailan? In 2024 pa. Kung 2024 pa, ilang years pa yon?
2 years.
2 years pa, di ba? So meron tayong forward contract. Kung magkano yung difference natin, yun na rin yung ating forward contract, 300,000. Kasi 300 euros din naman yung ating in-enter, di ba, into a hedge transaction. So yung forward contract natin, meron tayong gain dyan na 300,000 yung PB factor. So in 2 periods. So since ma-receive pa natin yan in 2 periods. So that is 2022, ang discount rate ay 8%. So that's 1.08 raised to the negative 2. So ayan. So 1.08 raised to the negative 2. So ito yung ating magiging an asset or liability. Charles, asset or liability?
Liab po, sir.
Gain nga eh. Pag nagkaroon ka ba ng gain, may liab ka?
Asset po ba?
Derivative asset. Okay? So, anong entrada para sa derivative asset? Na 257, debit. Derivative asset. Credit. Anong credit, Charles?
Yung gain po na credit po.
Gain on forward contract. Okay, so gain on forward contract na 257,202. Okay, sige. I think magagawa mo na yung 2023. Sige nga. 2023. Sige. Charles. So magse-set up pala muna tayo ng interest expense, no? So debit interest expense and credit interest payable. Magkano ito? Ilang percent ang ating magiging basis?
8 na po.
8 na. Correct na. So, mula September 2022. September 30, 2022. 15,9 times 8% times 3 over 12. Magkano?
318,000.
318. Correct. Ito ang isa-set up natin as interest expense as of December 31. Sige, 2023. Sige, 2023. Magbabayad muna ng interest. At what rate? $51. Tulad ng ginawa natin dito kanina, di ba? So kopyahin ko lang 'to. Okay? So tapos ikaw magdidikta ng amount, ha? So yung interest payable, that's the 318. Sige nga. Paano compute ng interest expense? Magkano babayaran? That is 300,000 times 8% times 12 over 12 times ang ating rate this 2023 is 51 pesos. Sige. So 300,000 times 8% times 51, that is 1,224,000. So this is, sorry, hindi pala ito interest payable, cash to, ha? Sorry. Payment yan, cash. Ngayon ko lang nakita. Cash. So credit cash of 1,224,000. So meron tayong additional interest expense of 906,000. Okay? Next, pagdating ng September 30, 2023, mag-recompute ulit tayo. So from 15,9 naging 15,3. So anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung 15,9 naging 15,3, bumaba. Correct, di ba? So debit.
Loans payable.
Loans payable.
600,000.
600,000 and credit.
Forex gain.
Forex gain.
Credit forex gain. 600,000 din po.
Ang pasok niyan ay PNL na 600. 1,000. So yung ating derivative, so meron din tayong decrease na magkano naman? Magkano i-record natin? Siyempre, nagkaroon tayo ng gain sa ating forex, magkakaroon naman tayo ng loss. So however, di ba meron tayong derivative asset na magkano? Ito 'yon, di ba? 257 na naka-present value. Correct? Okay. So kapag naka-present value, ano effect niyan? Kailangan mo siyang i-amortize. Okay? So kailangan mo siyang i-amortize. So i-amortize muna natin yung 257. Yun naman yung ating first time na nag-recognize tayo ng derivative asset. So that is amortization ng ating derivative asset. So debit tayo ng derivative asset and credit tayo ngayon ng pasok P&L, interest, income. So for amortization, that is 257,202 using ilang percent yung ginamit natin last year? $8 ba yung last year? O para i-set up ito, para i-set up. 8%, correct. So 8% ang ginamit natin para i-set up. So that is 257,202 times 8%. So ito yung kanyang magiging amortization. 257,202 times 8%. That's 20,576. 20,576. Ayan. So para sa amortization ng ating derivative asset. And then, tsaka natin ngayong i-recognize yung ating liability. This time, no? Compute natin magkano ang ending balance ng ating derivative asset or liability. So which will be settled in 1 year time. So magkano ang ating magkano yung ating naging total loss to date? We're talking about derivative liability here, ha? Ito yung ating cumulative decrease in derivative. Magkano yung ating cumulative decrease? So from the very beginning, from 15.6 na naging 15.3. So therefore, meron tayong loss, no? So cumulative loss yan. So sa cumulative na tayo nag-base, ha? Kasi that is ending balance naman na kinocompute natin ng ating derivative liability. Sige, so that is a derivative liability. So ilang percent yung ating rate ng September 2023? That is 6%. Okay? So that is the PB factor of 6%. Ilang periods? In 1 period na lang. Wala na palang S. So that is 1.06 raised to the negative 1. Ito na yung ating magiging PB factor. So supposedly, ito dapat yung balanse ng ating derivative liability. So dapat meron tayong liability na magkano? Okay, correct. 283,019. Magkano magiging adjustment natin? Ito yung kanyang unadjusted balance of derivative asset. Ang derivative asset ay may 257,202. Nagkaroon pa nga tayo ng amortization na 277,600. 778. Ito na ngayon ang dapat maging adjustment. Magkano dapat adjustment natin? $560, $797. Okay? So yung 560, 797, ito yung ating magiging total adjustment. So ito yung i-recognize natin as loss. Loss on forward contract. $560, $797. Credit tayo ng derivative asset. Okay. Derivative asset credit. 277, 778. And derivative liability. So that is 283, 019. Okay. So ito naman yung magiging entrada natin ng 2023. Okay? O last 2024. Kaya pa ba, Charles? Kaya pa 2024? Sir, ikaw naman nagsasagot eh. Sige. Mag-entrada muna pala tayo ng 2023, December 31, 2023, debit interest expense and credit interest payable. Magkano i-set up natin? In 2023, magkano ating interest rate? %, di ba? Sige. Magkano to? 300,000 times 0.08 times 3/12 times 51. That is 306. Tama ba? 306. That is 15.3 times 8% times 3/12. 306. Tsaka tayo mag 2024. Pagdating ng 2024, magbabayad ng interest. Magkano babayad ang interest? Debit interest expense, interest payable, and then cash. Yung interest payable natin, ito. Ang cash na babayaran ay 300,000 times ilang percent ang ating interest ng 2024 na gagamitin ay 6%. 6%. Okay. So times 6% times 12/12 times ang ating 55. Okay? So times 55. Ano yung 6%? Wait lang. May chat dito. Sir, 6 po, di ba? Oo nga, 6%. Ano ba yung 6 po, di ba? Ito pala. Sorry. Ito, tama. 6%. Tama ba? Ito ba yung sinasabi niyo 6%? Tapos na wala naman sumasagot. Yes, o ayan. Correct, correct, correct. So this must be, o yung total na babayaran natin is at 55. O so magkano ito? 300 times 0.06 times 55. 990. O so nag-set up na tayo. So ito na lang yung ating additional interest expense. So dapat 990 yung ating total interest expense for 1 year. So correct. Oh, that's 990,000. So from 15.3 nag-increase to 16.5. Magkano difference? 15.3 minus 6.5, that's 1,200,000. So definitely we have a loss. Okay? So meron tayong forex loss na papasok sa P&L. That's 1,200,000. Credit tayo ng loans payable. So meron tayong loans payable na 1,200,000. Okay? So which is ngayong araw din siya babayaran. Tama, di ba? Pero mag-amortize muna tayo ng interest, debit tayo ng derivative liability, debit interest expense, and credit tayo ng derivative liability. So this is, magkano yung beginning natin? 283,019 times 6%. That's 16,981. Okay? And then, bayaran na natin yung loans. Ito, yung buong 16.5, due siya ng 2024. Tama ba? So, binayaran siya ng 2024. So, debit tayo ngayon ng loans payable and credit tayo ng cash. Ito yung 16.5 million. So, today is also the due date. And then, meron din tayong forward contract. Tama, di ba? So, which is 1.2 din yung ating difference. Pero yung ating cumulative increase 16.5 minus 15.6. That is 900,000. Okay? Tapos, parang ito yan. No? So, 900,000. Correct? So, kailan siya mag-due? Eh, di ba ngayon na rin siya due? So, hindi na natin siya ipe-present value kasi raised to the zero. Eh. Eh, di 1 din yon. Eh, ang ating balanse ng derivative liability, yung ating unadjusted balance,
289.
of derivative liability, magkano?
283,019.
That is,
280,019.
ayan. That's 300,000 na sakto. Tama ba? Kasi nag-adjust na tayo eh. Ayan na. Yung 283,019 plus yung 16,981. Okay? So ito dapat yung ating magiging adjustment. So which is 900 minus 300. It should be 1.2 million then. Correct, diba? So 1.2 million then. So meron tayong debit. Derivative liability na 300,000. So we supposed to have a derivative asset of 900,000. So meron tayong gain on forward contract na 1,200,000. Since last day na today, kailangang ma-settle sa atin yung derivative asset. So tayo makaka-receive ng 900,000. So debit tayo ng cash and credit derivative asset of 900,000. So ayan. Sa inyo ating mga transactions. So kung iisa-isayin natin, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So lahat naman yan pumasok sa P&L, no? Yung ating mga transactions. So isa-isayin na lang din natin magkano yung ating interest expense or interest income, if any, total, and the balance of our derivative asset or liability. Derivative asset or derivative liability. In 2021, kung babalikan natin, meron tayong interest expense na 273. Okay? In 2022, meron tayong interest expense na 840 plus 318. Okay. So, meron pa pala tayong ugol, no? So, meron pa tayong forward contract gain or loss. In 2021, wala. 2022, meron tayong forward contract gain. Loss pala ito na 300,000. So forex gain or loss na pumasok sa PL. So meron tayong forex loss na 300,000 ng 2022. 2023, meron tayong interest expense. Dalawa. Meron tayong interest income. $2023, ayan, interest income, 2576. So meron tayong forex gain na 600,000 and a loss on forward contract of 560, 707. So ang loss pala dapat ang naka-positive. Sorry. Positive 300, tama. Ito mga gain to, no? Forward contract gain or loss. O, pinalit ko ha, yung gain ang naka-negative. So yung mga lalabas sa ating statement of comprehensive income. So tama ba to na this is a loss, yung 300,000? Loss yung 300,000. Eh yung 257,200, that's a forward contract gain. So dapat ito naka-negative. Ayan. So ito loss to Tapos forex gain, interest income. Kasi yung interest expense naka-add eh. Next is 2024, interest expense. Dalawa yan. Ayan. So meron tayong interest expense. And then gain on forward contract na 1 million. 200,000 and a forex loss of 1,200,000. So meron pa ba ako nakalimutan? So for our derivative asset or liability, 2021, so wala, zero yan. 2022, derivative asset. 2023, derivative liability. And 2024, zero. Kasi nabayaran na yun. Paki-double check ha, yung pumasok sa P&L. So ayan. Ito yung mga pumasok sa P&L. So again, interest income or interest expense ng 2022, correct? 2023, dalawang interest expense. And 2024, interest expense. Okay, so correct naman. So ito yung ating pumasok sa P&L. At ito naman yung ating statement of financial position. Ayan. So that is problem number 2. So ito ang sagot sa atin ni Charles Sindak. Problem number 5 is Scholar General Insurance. One of the country's leading non-life insurance has involved your services in the audit of its 2021 FS. And as an experienced staff, you have been assigned to audit its revenue and related accounts. So the accounting head provided you the premium register for 2021, which discloses the following summary of details on a per month basis. Okay? So, meron tayong a total of 65 mula January hanggang December. Premiums assumed. And then, total seeded out. Okay? You noted that a sudden and unusual increase in the month of December. You immediately called the accounting head for this and noted that the increase was due to large policy written for Samsung Tech, which covers the building where its office is located. Details of the policy is as follows. So ito yung total, that is 5 billion. So date book is December 2028. So ang premium na binayad ay 17. So ibig sabihin, isinama yung buong 17 million. Okay? So you're further noted at December 31, 2028 yon. So dapat dito sa 22 million na premiums written, hindi mo pa siya isama as income o hindi pa siya dapat po sumama as earn. Okay? So you further noted that due to significant value of the property, 50% of this was reinsured to finance insurance company, as those losses may be sustained from said policy might wipe out the entire capital of the company. So determine the following as a result of your audit. So what is the correct gross premiums written in 2021? So to compute for our gross premiums written in 2021, so magkano yung ating total, given na naman yung ating 65,704,400. Ito yung total premiums written. Okay. So tatanggalin natin yung 17 million na hindi pa naman dapat. Okay? So tatanggalin natin yung 17 million na hindi pa naman dapat. Okay, so that is magkano? Plus yung premiums that has been assumed, yung 6,825,114. So again, so that is yung premiums written based sa schedule 65, 704, 400. Okay? So tanggalin yung mga early book, early recorded premiums. Ito yung kay Samtech na 17 million. So hindi pa siya dapat i-recognize as premium. Okay? And plus yung ating premiums that has been assumed. $6,825,114. So, ito yung total ng ating gross premiums written. So, meron tayong 55,529,514. So, ito yung sagot natin sa number 1. Next is determine the gross earned premium for 2021. So beginning balance is 18,702,989 and determine the should be balance of the unearned premium. Okay? So from 65, yung ating premiums written so meron tayong beginning balance, binigay na yan, that's 18,702,989. Okay? Plus, yung ating total premium na na-earn. Ang earned portion natin is dapat ano yan, yung January to December. So kailangan pala muna natin ma-compute magkano yung ating premiums na na-deferred. Okay, so based sa discussion, how do we compute our premiums deferred? That is the difference of the written and the assumed. Okay? Pero kasi meron tayong adjustment dito sa 65, di ba? Yung 65, 704, 400, may sumama dyan na 17 million. So tatanggalin natin yung 17 million. Okay? So minus yung premiums na inassume na 6,825,114. So yun dapat yung ating magiging total premiums. So sige nga, paki-minus yung dalawang yan. Yung premiums written and premiums assumed.
41,879,286.